If you are looking to get started with any kind of content creation, or if you just want to sound very professional on Zoom calls or while gaming with your friends, then we have a very interesting microphone for you today because it really performs amazingly well for its price, and it is the Maono AU-PM320S, which is actually a complete kit that comes in at around 6,000 rupees or $80. I am also going to compare it with my Lewitt LCT 440 Pure, which is also a cardioid condenser mic costing around 20,000 rupees or $270. So you will get an idea of how this complete kit sounds in comparison to a professional mic that costs 3.3 times more. Hey guys, I am Siddharth, and this video is going to be recorded with both of these mics, and I am going to switch between them during the video, and you will see on the screen which mic is being used, so you can judge in real time how these mics sound. Inside the box, you get some papers explaining the basic stuff you need to know. Then you get a foam windscreen for the mic. You get a pop filter with an adjustable neck. Then in the bottom section of the box, you get a boom arm for the microphone, the clamp for the boom arm. Then you get a good quality XLR cable. You get a shock mount for the mic, which also comes with an adapter for different mic stands. We have some straps to tie the cable to the boom arm, and finally we get to the microphone. The PM320S is built really well. It feels quite heavy in hand, and the grill on it also feels very strong. I also like how the PM320S looks because it is a very minimalist cylindrical design, and it looks quite good on camera, which is very important for streamers and YouTubers. Now the price for all of these accessories can be around up to 2,000 rupees if you buy them separately, so you are getting a lot for the money, and the great thing about the package is that these are not low quality accessories. The windscreen is nice, the pop filter works great, and the boom arm also handles the weight of the mic very easily even when you extend it completely. The XLR cable also doesn't feel cheap, and the connectors on it also don't feel flimsy. The sound signature that Maono has printed on their box looks very flat, and I might have not found it to be completely reliable, but the mic does sound quite flat, so it is going to be great for all recording purposes. The Lewitt mic has a boost in its higher frequency range, so it makes your voice stand out in a mix, which can work great for people with deep voices, but it can also accentuate the sibilance in your voice if your P's and S's sound harsh. But both of these mics can of course be EQ'd in post, so you can add a presence boost to the Maono mic if you need it. The Maono AU-PM320S has a 16mm condenser capsule, while the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure is a large diaphragm condenser mic with a 25mm capsule. Now, as you must have observed, both of these are XLR mics, which means that you cannot plug them directly into your computer, and both of these also need something called phantom power, so you will need an audio interface like the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 that I am using to plug in and power both of these mics. An interface like this costs around 15,000 rupees or $200, but you can also go for a cheaper interface for around 5 or 6,000 rupees, and that should also work well with these. These mics also don't offer any controls or buttons on them, so you will have to control the gain and monitor the levels from your interface. But if this will get out of budget for you, the PM320S also comes in a USB version for which you won't need an audio interface, and you can plug that one directly into a computer. The reason that people choose to go with an XLR mic is because you can have a lot of customizability in your chain, you can record multiple mics more easily, and you can also record with XLR mics without using a computer with one of those Zoom devices. XLR mics may also sound cleaner because it is a balanced connection and the mic doesn't have to have all the components inside it. The PM320S is a cardioid condenser mic, meaning that it is going to pick up voice from its front where the Maono logo is, and it is going to reject the noise from its sides and its back. So you have to speak into it on the side that has the logo, and you are not going to catch a lot of reflections from your room which make the audio sound bad. So let's test how the noise rejection is with this, and currently I am speaking in front of the microphone. Now we are on the side of the microphone, and this is what it sounds like. And now this is the back of the microphone, and you can hear how much of my voice is getting rejected. And now we are back on its front, and this is what it sounds like. Let's also repeat the test with the Lewitt microphone, and this is what it sounds like from the front. And now we are on the side of the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure, and this is what it sounds like. And now this is how my voice sounds from its back, so you can hear how much of it is being rejected. And now we are back on its front. For best results in a non-treated room, you should keep these mics close to you, and this is what it sounds like from a distance of around 6 inches. And now this is what it sounds like from a 1 feet distance, and you should be able to hear some of the room reflections. Now I am 2 feet away from the microphone, and this is what it sounds like, and this really is not the best position to record into these mics. Now we are going to check how the sibilant sounding words sound on these mics. So I am going to say a sentence that sounds a little funny, but please don't laugh at it because this is serious work. Pissing in Wi-Fi 6, 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 pissing in Wi-Fi 6. Do give this video a thumbs up if you've been liking it so far, and you can also subscribe with bell because I have a video on another very interesting mic coming up that I can't even show to you because it is under embargo. If you get really close to these mics, you observe an increase in the bass, which gives you a very deep voice, and this is called proximity effect, and this is what it sounds like on the PM320S. Now I am getting very close to the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure to achieve the same effect, and this is what it sounds like. What I observed in my tests is that the Maono mic gets a little too bassy when you get very close to it, while the Lewitt mic sounds deep and clear. The PM320S also sounds good, and this is something that you may prefer or not. Maybe you would want to have more bass on your voice, for which the PM320S would work great. Now we are going to test how the Maono mic handles plosives, which means how it can handle bursts of air that come from your mouth when you speak certain words. You do get a pop filter with the Maono mic, which you can use to protect it from plosives, but if you aren't speaking directly in front of it and you have it on the side, you can also use the foam windscreen, which should also do a good enough job. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. So now let's test how these mics sounds on an acoustic guitar. Up till now, I had no effects applied on these mics, but from this point, I am going to add some compression or maybe even EQ on these. So overall, I think that the Maono PM320S really provides everything that you need to get started, but it's not just the quantity of things that you get in the kit, but the quality of the accessories and the mic itself is also really good. I used a very resolving audio setup to check out the differences between the Maono mic and the Lewitt mic, and while the difference is audible, the Maono mic doesn't necessarily sound bad in this comparison. The Lewitt mic does capture the details in higher frequencies in a better way, and it has a more airy sound, so it feels like there is more space in the voice that it captures, but the Maono mic also sounded really great, and you must be able to hear what the difference is between the sound of these mics. I think that the frequency response of these mics is responsible for a big portion of the differences between them. The Lewitt has a boost in its higher frequencies, while Maono, at least on paper, seems to have a flatter frequency response, which is also kind of audible when I listen to these. Different mics sounds better on different voices, so if you have a very high-pitched or sibilant voice, a mic like the Lewitt can accentuate the high end, but for my voice, which is on the deeper side, the Lewitt nicely provides some extra clarity to it, and it also doesn't sound sibilant even after having the high frequency boost, which is a great quality. The Maono mic also sounds great on my voice, and it is really amazing how well this competes with a mic that costs more than 3 times of it. For vocals and instruments, the Maono mic also works great, and you can absolutely record into it and have your work published on YouTube or other platforms. But this is an area where the differences between these two mics get a little bigger, and the better capturing of the higher end by the Lewitt mic does make it sound better. With all that said, I can very easily recommend the Maono AU-PM320S. It is just an incredible value that can be used for a variety of purposes, and it will really deliver way more than what its price point would indicate. If you are getting started with voiceover or vocal recording or making YouTube videos like these, you can absolutely do it. I used the Maono mic in 3 of my previous videos and it worked very well, and it is amazing how good these affordable mics have gotten. If you are wondering whether the Lewitt mic is worth it or not at 3 times the price, I would say it depends on how much you value the differences it offers. For my channel, which is doing decently well, I can justify spending the extra on a mic because even if the difference is not that big, it is worth it for me, and it does have a very innovative execution of the shock mount and its magnetic pop filter in a very compact form factor. The Lewitt mic is also known for having very low self-noise, and while I could see that in the graphs of my recording software, the difference wasn't really audible in the way I recorded these mics today. So let me know what differences you felt between these two mics in the comment section below, and I'll have links to buy both of these mics in the video description so you can check their price out, and I'll also link to the USB version of the Maono AU-PM320S, which should also work really well. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it to be helpful, or a thumbs down if you disliked it. Subscribe with bell, follow me on socials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.